Hey everyone, my name is Wedge. After yesterday's outrageous Surok reveal, we are calming down a little bit, but not really that much at all. We have a constructed playable control card, the Ascendancy a lot of you have been waiting to hear about, the best, most devilish Genesis wave I've ever seen, and more. It's cons, man. It's nuts. Dig through time, 6 colorless and 2 blue for an instant with Delve. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. Put 2 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. This card is bonkers. It's like crazy good. It could easily see constructed play. What's important to remember is that you don't play this in a deck designed around Delve. You play it in a control strategy for value, especially late game. A couple copies of this could come in really handy at almost any point as long as there's something in the graveyard to work with, and if you're playing control, there are always spells in the graveyard. I know some of you are disappointed because it doesn't mill the rest of the cards into your graveyard to enable further Delve shenanigans, but honestly, that's way too good and potentially broken. There's no way they could justify that. Even as it is now, it's quite strong. Digging that deep in a control strategy will assuredly get you at least something useful. This is easily one of the most control-friendly cards we've seen so far. I like it a lot. Jeskai Ascendancy is 1 blue, 1 red, and 1 white for an enchantment. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Untap those creatures. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. This is definitely in flavor for what the Jeskai are trying to do. It's all about a few value creatures and a huge supplemental spell package. They use the first ability to scare your opponents out of attacking, while giving additional value to your creature if they do attack. The second ability is about filtering to the right cards. Hopefully as a Jeskai player, you'll have impactful spells that you can cast to trigger the Ascendancy, which will hopefully give you more impactful spells than you can cast again for even more cards and hopefully more prowess triggers. Notice I did say hopefully a lot. This synergy is really strong on paper, it's just difficult to get it all together on the battlefield. This is especially true for Limited. It's clear now that this is the true Jeskai way. Value creatures, impactful spells, prowess. The thing about Limited is that you're given what you're given. If the packs don't give you enough value creatures or impactful non-creature spells, forcing Jeskai is going to be awful. You'll hate it. It works very similarly to drafting Izzet back when Return to Ravnica came out. You need all the right cards to make it work. If you get them, you might go undefeated. If you don't, ouch. Just keep this in mind when drafting on release day. Pre-release should be okay because you have seeded cards, but once you get to drafting, remember, forcing Jeskai is riskier than forcing any other clan. Secret Plans is 1 green and 1 blue for an enchantment. Face down creatures you control get +0/+1. Whenever a permanent you control is turned face up, draw a card. If block constructed is going to be a thing, Morph is on my list for awesome strategies. Getting multiples of these and Trail of Mystery would be hysterical. Once again, however, this is blue but also green, so it doesn't work in Ixodor Commander, which makes me want to cry like a baby. Here's the thing, if you want to play this in Limited, it's one of those situations where you need everything to fall correctly. It's like taking Sliverhive in M15 draft. It's so difficult to justify. The value for this card, at least right now, isn't casual, but it could be a block card. With just 1 trigger, it replaces itself card advantage-wise. Anything past that is just gravy. I really like this. This card is ridiculous. Villainous Wealth, or as we like to call it, Grand Theft Genesis Wave, is X 1 black, 1 green, and 1 blue for a sorcery. Target opponent exiles the top X cards of their library. You may cast any number of non-land cards with converted mana cost X or less from among them without paying their mana costs. This is reminiscent of Genesis Wave, except it's the Genesis Wave from the bottom of the underworld. Not only does this exile the cards so your opponent can't do anything tricky with graveyards, but it also removes their mana costs. It also lets you cast non-permanent spells since it casts cards rather than putting them onto the battlefield directly. Sure, you can't play lands, but who cares? You get all their stuff for free. There is the level of inconsistency here. You might get their bombs, you might get nothing, but I think the risk is well worth it. You could even combo this with Aether Spouts. Wipe out all their stuff off the board, they put their best creatures on the top of their library, you untap, boom, get everything they wanted to keep. The downside of the randomness is easily made up for by the raw power of this card. I wouldn't define this as a finisher in Constructed, but in the right deck it very well could fit that role. Also, and this should be obvious to you all by now, but this is a huge bomb in Commander, like gigantic bomb, like the biggest bomb. It's so big. Also released today was the announcement for the Khans of Tarkir holiday gift box. Normally I wouldn't bring too much attention to this, but the promo that's included, you'll want it. Check out this Sultai charm. There's no way that won't be beautiful. Seriously, I'd consider getting the box just to get this. Since there's no other way to get it, I might not have a choice at all, actually. So yeah, I'm just totally getting this. It's so pretty. What do you all think about today's spoilers? We definitely saw some relevant cards as far as I'm concerned. The one thing I do know to be true is that this limited format is going to be crazy. I can just imagine drafting now. Absolute and utter chaos the entire time. Every deck just bonkers. Anyways, let me know how you feel in the comments below and we'll talk about everything ever. As always, subscribe for the latest and most reliable Khans of Tarkir spoiler information you could ever need. This is the Manosaurus, I'm Wedge. Thanks for watching, we'll see you next time.
What?